But what about money? You never went to college, so you're still broke, right? You think you two can live on that? If you're counting on mom's money, let me give you some advice. Don't think two adults can survive on Medicaid. You don't even have a house. I could tell, even over the phone, that my brother was looking down on me and laughing, just like he always did. I wish he'd stop mocking me. I'm not the same person I used to be. Is that all you wanted to say? Don't worry about me. Are we done? I don't have anything else to discuss with you. You've gotten pretty cheeky, huh? Just because you've managed to survive doesn't mean you can act all high and mighty. You're a woman. You'll never beat me, a man. Stop pretending you're not poor. You're mistaken. I'm not poor. I make a decent salary. Huh? My brother sounded dumbfounded. I then told him the truth. My name is Juliet. I married Mark 3 years ago. I have a fulfilling job and live a happy life. I never thought such happiness would come my way. Growing up under a domineering, chauvinistic dad, I was never allowed the freedom my brother had. I was constantly oppressed. My brother always ordered me around, belittled me in front of his friends, and mocked me. The only reason I made it through was because of Mom. Mom couldn't stand up to Dad or my brother, but she always helped me. When I was forced to do something unreasonable, my mom took over instead, and even though I was supposed to be busy, she snuggled up to me when I cried and stayed by my side until I stopped crying. As I got older, my brother became increasingly malicious. He manipulated situations so Mom couldn't protect me. If Mom tried to help, he'd tattle to Dad, who would then scold Mom. Realizing this, I knew I had to become strong and stop crying. Time passed, and I reached the 12th grade. Women don't need an education. You're not going to college, Dad told me. At that time, my brother was partying every day at a private college. Despite the unfairness, I remained calm. I had already resigned myself to this fate. I said, okay, and backed down. But it seemed Mom had different thoughts. That night, she came to my room and cried, I'm sorry. I can't send you to college. Facing my tearful mom, I smiled. Don't worry, I never planned on going to college. I'll work after graduating high school. I've already started looking. I was putting on a brave face. Mom probably knew. Still, she didn't question me and said, thank you, handing me some money she had secretly saved. Thanks to that, I moved out as soon as I graduated high school. With Mom's help, I rented an apartment. I started living alone and began working at a nationwide cafe chain. That was over a decade ago. I haven't seen Mom since I left home. We occasionally keep in touch, and when Dad passed away, I even offered for her to live with me. But Mom chose to stay at home. Think only of your own happiness, she said, declining my offer. I had made the same offer when I got married, but she declined with the same words. Now, she's living with my brother and his family. In the midst of all of this, my mother-in-law passed away. When I told my mom, she said she would attend the funeral. However, she never showed up. When I reached out, she replied that something urgent had come up. What could be more important than a funeral? I felt uneasy. Worried, I contacted Mom again, but all she said was, think only of your own happiness. After that day, she stopped responding to my messages. Mom, who was oppressed by Dad and my brother, just like me, is a strong-willed person, I believe. So I doubt she would open up even if I pressed her further. Maybe keeping in touch occasionally is the right distance for her. Thinking this, I decided to continue our occasional contact. Mom responded to those messages. Then, one day, as I returned from work, I saw a shadow at the front door. Approaching cautiously, I found Mom in a wheelchair. What? Mom? It takes over 3 hours to get here from my hometown by plane and taxi. I couldn't help but raise my voice. I had no idea Mom was coming, let alone that she was now wheelchair-bound. Upon closer look, her clothes were tattered, and her messy hair was tied back. Turning toward the sound of my voice, Mom burst into tears. I quickly ushered her inside and pushed her wheelchair. I'm sorry, I never meant to be a burden, Juliet, but I had nowhere else to go. Holding her shoulders, I managed to get her to the living room, where she spoke in a barely audible voice. My throat tightened at the sight of her. It's not a burden. I'm just happy to see you after so long. Yes, we haven't met since you started living on your own, Mom said, offering a weak smile. Unable to hold back, I asked, what happened today? I had no idea you were in a wheelchair. If you told me, I would have picked you up. And your clothes and hair are a mess. Are you being mistreated by my brother? Mom fell silent at my questions. After a heavy pause, she began to speak. Actually, I've been treated like a servant by Stephen for a long time. It got worse after Alexandra passed away. Stephen's wife and even their son, my grandson, they all ordered me around every day. What? I became wheelchair-bound recently after falling down the stairs. But their attitude didn't change. They still make me do all the housework while only giving me Medicaid. I just couldn't take it anymore. Tears I had been holding back spilled over. Of course, I felt anger towards my brother's family, but more than that, I blamed myself. I couldn't help but blame myself for not recognizing Mom's struggles while taking her kindness for granted, even though she was in such a difficult situation. There's only one thing I can do for Mom now. Hey, Mom, let's live together. I'm sure Mark will understand. You can't go back to that house. I placed my hand over Mom's and squeezed it tightly. Mom squeezed back. Thank you, she said, tears quietly streaming down her face. When Mark came home and I explained the situation, he discussed Mom's future with a serious expression. Mark values equality and despises male chauvinism. Knowing my past, he said Mom could stay with us indefinitely. With the landlord's permission secured, plans for living with Mom started to take shape. The next day, which was my day off, I took Mom to a department store and bought her new clothes. We also went to a salon to get her hair done. With her new clothes and freshly styled hair, I noticed how thin Mom's face had become. I had been too focused on her tattered clothes and messy hair to notice before. I asked Mom what she wanted to eat, and she shyly replied, pudding. A week had passed since the three of us started living together. We were finally settling into our new life. Mom's phone rang while Mark and I were discussing throwing her a welcome party. The moment she saw the screen, her face tensed up. I instantly knew it was from my brother. You don't have to answer, I said, but Mom pressed the call button, her face filled with agony. Probably because she had never defied him before. From the phone, I heard my brother's crude voice, which I hadn't heard in years. Where are you? Why haven't you come back? The laundry is piling up and we're eating out every day. If you're not here, we won't get the Medicaid money. Come back now. Start with cleaning. He yelled and hung up. Hearing my brother's voice again didn't bring back any nostalgia. I was filled with anger. My past regrets were turning into rage. I was different now. Just as Mom had helped me in the past, it was my turn to help her. I immediately called my brother. This is Juliet. Mom is with me. She has no intention of going back to you. She'll be living with us from now on. Stop relying on Mom. Though I spoke out of anger, my heart was pounding with the thrill of my first act of defiance. I did it. I felt a sense of accomplishment, as if I had shaken off my past, but my brother just sneered. Juliet, huh? So you're alive. You think you can support Mom all by yourself? Do you have any idea how much money it takes to support a person? I've been supporting Mom all this time. She was the one relying on me, not the other way around. Liar, you just said something about Medicaid. You were taking money and still making Mom do all the housework. What, you're after Mom's money too? That's not... Just as I was about to refute my brother's words, he said something completely unexpected. Got a problem? Then you take care of Mom. Really? You're okay with that? Yeah, I'm fine. She's in a wheelchair and not much to use anymore, so it's a relief for me too. I had expected my brother to be more insistent about Mom coming home, so I felt a sudden sense of relief. He probably thinks I can't afford to take care of Mom. As if to confirm that, he continued. But how are you going to handle the finances? You didn't even go to college, so you're still broke, right? You think you can live with Mom on Medicaid? Don't even dream about it, especially when you don't even have a house. Even over the phone, I could tell he was looking down on me and laughing, just like he used to. I wish he'd stop belittling me. I'm not the same person I used to be. Is that all you wanted to say? No need to worry, so can we end this? I have nothing more to discuss with you. You've gotten pretty cheeky, huh? Don't act so high and mighty just because you've managed to survive. You're a loser and you'll never beat me, a man. You're mistaken, I'm not poor. I earn a decent salary. What? My brother sounded dumbfounded. I decided to tell him the truth. I've been working hard since then, and now I'm an area manager. My salary is quite good, and I can support Mom without taking any money from her. That can't be true. You didn't even go to college. How could someone like you earn a good salary? My brother was clearly flustered. It's understandable. He'd been looking down on me for so long, and now I was doing well for myself. You won't believe this. Do you even know what it means to add another adult to the household? You'll need another room, another bed. Mom has stuff, and she'll need clothes too. The food bill will double. You sure know a lot for someone who doesn't lift a finger around the house. I'm well aware of that. No need for you to tell me. Don't expect me to pay to ship Mom's stuff. If you want to pay for it, I can send it, but you'll have to pay extra for the trouble of packing it up. No need. I've already bought new things for Mom. What? I hear my brother catch his breath. Seems like he's finally starting to get it. So what you said earlier is true? Why would I lie? People appreciate hard work, whether you have a degree or not. What about you? You have a degree, but can't make it without money from mom? Exactly. People appreciate those who work hard. My husband and in-laws do. My brother desperately lies in response. That's not true. Mom offered, so I just took it. My brother is just ridiculous. So there's no problem if mom lives with me, right? You can manage without her money? I don't care, but you'll struggle. You live in a rental apartment, meant for one, right? You'll need to move, and it'll cost more. Even if you say you have extra money, it's impossible for you. It's better for mom to live with us. My brother says this, but it's obvious he's after mom's money. He's making remarks like he's thinking for my sake. I can't possibly take his words at face value. I can't believe you. You just want mom's money. That's not true. I'm just worried about you. Worried? Don't make me laugh. You've oppressed me for years, and now you're concerned? I'm married, have built a house, and I'm living happily. My husband is the son of the CEO of the company I work for. I can easily support mom. I don't need your concern. As I say this, mom pats my arm. I look at mom, and she nods. I hand her the phone. Mom looks determined. As Juliet said, I've decided to live with her. I won't be returning to that house. Also, I've decided to sell it. What? My brother's shocked voice is loud enough to be heard from a distance. That house became mine after Alexander passed away. I won't be living there anymore, so I'm selling it. You all need to move out. Mom, that's so selfish. As my brother raises his desperate voice, I hear a woman's voice on the other end of the phone. I can't hear clearly, but she's definitely upset. My brother suddenly shouts, "Shut up! Mom's leaving and she won't even have Medicaid. She's telling us to move out. What are we gonna do? We're out of money. It's your fault for exploiting mom. Apologize and ask for her to come back." My brother continues to argue with the person on the other end, likely his wife. Both sides seem to be blaming each other for mom leaving, and the conversation was unbearable to listen to. After a while, mom sighed. Handle your issues on your own. I'm hanging up now. Goodbye. With that, mom ended the call. Staring blankly at the phone, mom and I felt a hand on our shoulders. It was Mark. You both did great. You stood your ground. Hearing my husband's words, mom and I hugged and shed tears. A few days later, mom decided to sell her family home. My father-in-law introduced us to a real estate agent he knew, making the contract process smooth. As for my brother's family, who were kicked out of the house, they moved into a rundown apartment, and shortly after, his wife left him. Apparently, the fights continued after the phone call, and she couldn't handle the household chores that mom used to do. The life of my brother and his son, who had never done housework, quickly fell apart. Their home became so messy that they received complaints from neighbors. I heard rumors that they'll soon be evicted from the rundown apartment. On the other hand, my husband and I quit our jobs and decided to open our dream store. We aim for a place where anyone, regardless of gender or disability, can work equally. After selling her home, mom offered to give me the money, but I declined. I told mom to enjoy her life, making up for the years she couldn't. Hearing my words, mom decided to use the money to move into the assisted living facility. Though I felt a bit lonely, I supported her decision to start a new chapter in her life. We'll visit her in the assisted living facility. With that thought, I vowed to cheer on mom's new life.